night, good morning, wherever you may be in the world. Thank you for joining me for another edition of the Truth Conductor Show. Um, man, what I wanna share with y'all, uh, because I talk a lot about you expanding your ideas right now, and I'm gonna show y'all how I built this brand persona right here, True Conductor. And I didn't start out as the True Conductor. I started out with the look, but I didn't have the name. And um and that's something that you have to be consistent with when you building a brand persona. Man, in fact, let me give you the definition of persona. Okay, hold on. Persona. A persona is the social face, public image, or character an individual presents to the world, often differing from your true self. That's a persona. This is a persona. Matter of fact, when I want to go incognito, I just take this off. I have people used to recognizing this hat and this uniform that I'm in. They don't, they're not used to seeing me in street clothes. So when I'm in street clothes, I can walk by somebody and they don't even pay me no attention because they're so used to seeing this. That's how you surprise folk and find out who's talking about you when they're not used to seeing you. So a persona is just a social face, public image, or character. Okay? An individual presents to the world. That's a persona. And long before the name Truth Conductor came, see, a lot of people just knew me as that DC Black History guy. Hey, Laura, thank you. You're the first one up in here today. A lot of people just knew me as that DC Black History because that's what they were used to seeing me going around the city and at the courthouse with my DCBlackTours.com sign. Let me show you. And even before that, when I first in 2014, when I started my limousine business, I still had the same get up. When I started my limousine business, okay, and I just no, I did exist, man. I'm 73. I'm talking about I didn't exist, and I did exist in 20. Man, in fact, let me show you. Let me show you, cause I can go back in my pictures. I got enough pictures, man. I can go back to 2014. Okay, so let me show you what I looked like in 2014. Okay, I'm gonna show you what I was looking like in 2014. And see, here's another thing. Uh, always document your stuff. Okay, always Oh, this phone only goes back to 2015. I got 2014 on uh on this phone. But let me just show you what I look like in 2015. See, that's 2015 right there. Matter of fact, I'm at a wedding. I'm doing a wedding. That's what I was looking like in 2015. Okay, that's when I was doing my limo business. I started out with Capital Buddy Limo. See, all right. That's how. And matter of fact, this is this is. Oh no, that's not one of the. That's over in Southwest. But I used to hang out at the Hyatt Regency on New Jersey Avenue. That's how I started out. Okay, that's how I started out. And I don't forgot what made me switch to this style hat. But when I started out, matter of fact, when I used to drive a bus, that's the style hat that I was wearing, but it was blue. So when I started working for myself, I just said, well, in driving, I said, well, let me just get a uniform for myself. Okay. Um, yeah, I'm trying. Um, so so the first thing you want to do is get people used to a look. Okay. When you building a persona, the first thing you want to do is develop a look, a style that people gonna identify with, and you're gonna have to look the part. Okay, you're gonna have whatever you decide to do, you're gonna have to look the part. Okay, you can't come out being shabby, doing all that. No, 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 no. Okay, you're gonna have to look the part. And see, and wherever I went, I always looked the part. Okay, didn't have a name then. I just have an image that I want to portray. That's what I knew. Let me portray this image that I got in my head. And once you get people used to seeing that image, then everything else is gonna fall in line. Okay. And right now, I can make the transition from truth conductor to a tour guide to a limousine driver, all with this. I can go. I don't have to change anything, and I can make. Um, yeah, I've been at Old Town. I was in Old Town. Old Town. Old Town is rough, man. Is Old Town is rough. I ain't lying. Old Town is rough. They roughing. They roughing Old Town, boy. Um, but see, listen. Let me show you. Now, uh, when they dedicated this statue at the South African Embassy, okay, I was actually driving for a company, uh, um, Chariots for Hire. I used to drive for Chariots for Hire out in Virginia, and we had a take a group down to the dedication of this statue. Well, because I was in a uniform, this is where all the photographers were. They had a platform where all the photographers, as you see, there are people sitting down below me. So I said, wait a minute, let me walk up on this platform and get a picture with this statue behind me because I'll never be able to do that again. You will never. If you go down to the South African embassy, you're going to be looking up at this statue. And I got on a platform that was right behind it and took this picture. Once in a lifetime moment. Once, and see, and that's another thing that you're going to have to start recognizing once in a lifetime moments, because once it's over, it's a wrap. You ain't gonna get that chance again. All right? You're not gonna get that chance again. And that's why you cannot be afraid. Okay? When you are building a brand persona, man, fear is gonna have to, you're gonna have to let that go. Cause you ain't gonna get but one shot at this stuff. Okay? You got one shot. That's it. And when it's that one moment could just be seconds. It can just be, I'm telling you, just be seconds and it's gone. Just like that. Okay? So I started getting people used to seeing me in this attire. I got them used to that. Everything I did, I always did in this attire. Let me show y'all. Man, that was my baby right. That's my baby right there. That's my limo. That car that y'all hear me talking about. This was my limo. This is what I started with right here. I started with this. That's what I started with. That limo. And from that limo I went to a Ford Transit van. Then I purchased a Mercedes Sprinter. But this right here is what I started with. And boy, I mean, I was all over town. I ain't lying. Matter of fact, there's my Sprinter. That's my Sprinter, man. I used to have that joint clean. I ain't lying. I kept that joint clean, boy. And I stepped out looking just like this. And people would call me up and say, "Man, can you do a job for me? Because I like your style." All right. I started as a limousine driver. Okay. And so when the tour business, let me see, here, there's when I started. See, now I done switched hats. That's the original True Conductor hat. See, that's so in 2016 is when I switched to this hat. 10 years ago. God damn. Man, 10 years ago. I started with this persona. Okay? That's when I switched to this hat. Okay? And again, I'm getting people. See, I'm getting people. I'm at a winery. That's way down in Virginia. See, I'm getting people used to seeing this persona. So after the limousine business went south, um, see, this is what I used to do. That's what I used to do. Okay, that's how I carried it. Always with a spirit of excellence, and whatever you do it in a spirit of excellence. So can't nobody knock your stuff. If you're gonna do it half-ass, you're wasting your time. Let me say that again. If you're doing it half-ass, you're wasting your time. Okay? Nobody. That was no, it wasn't a party bus. That was a regular 14, 15, 15 seater, 14 seater, 14 people plus the driver, 15. Okay, that was my thing. And so when so when Uber and Lyft destroyed. See, there's another hat that I used I always wore a hat because my grandmama could wear the hell out of some hats, man. And for some reason, I always when I decided to work for myself, I always had a hat. I always wore a hat. When I started working for myself, I always had a hat. Always. See? Always. I always had a hat. Wore some kind of a hat. And because that to me, that's what was distinguishing me from the rest of the people that was out there. Okay, that was this is a church group that I had. Right, always always distinguish yourself, man, from the pack. Oh yeah, let me show y'all something. This is one of my T-shirts I made. Never count God out. That's one of the T-shirts. Matter of fact, I might go back and revisit that idea. That was my see. I'm working. I got my truck and I got my T-shirts in the back. I got my T-shirts, man, and I be sitting on the street trying to sell my T-shirts. If I ain't busy, I ain't doing nothing, man. Let me put these T-shirts out here on the street and see what I can do. You know, um, you never rode a limo. Hello, I hope everyone is having a blessed day. So the main thing you want to do is and see at one point I started wearing. I would wear my T-shirt. Man, my wife, boy, that would drive my wife. Yeah, why do you have to put a T-shirt on? Because I'm advertising my business. That's advertisement. Even with my white shirt, my tie, and everything. See, I just threw a T-shirt on just to advertise. Because somebody might say, "Hey, where you get that T-shirt from?" I made them. I made them. That's where I got them from. And I started selling those shirts. And but I made the transition. See, this is what the inside of my that's what the inside of my my sprinter looked like. That was the inside right there. That was the inside of my bus. I always try to, hey, I didn't. I lost it, but I did get it. I did get it. So so when um now let me show you this is the Emancipation statue over on Capitol Hill right here. Um and that guy that's kneeling is an actual person. Him and Lincoln never met. But and this is the first statue that was dedicated to Abraham Lincoln before the Lincoln Memorial. This was the first statue that was dedicated to Abraham Lincoln. And a lot of people got offended because they thought the black guy, Archer Alexander, was actually kneeling to him. And uh, uh, Dorothy Height, who had the Council of Negro Women, they had a statue of across from that of uh, Mary McLeod Bethune, and She didn't want Mary McLeod Bethune looking at Lincoln's back, so she had the statue turned around so they're facing each other. And when she did that, this she put the statue out of position. If when you go down to that park, if you turn it back to its original position, this guy's looking to break north. He's facing north. That's what he's looking at. Man, he getting ready to run for north. But when she turned it around, now he's facing south. That looking for freedom from the very place that he's trying to escape. And they were ignorant of the history and didn't know it. Yeah, I've been to the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier. Yeah, I have. They don't play up there either. And these are some of the see. This is what I discovered about Black history, especially in this area. When wherever there was a concentration of Black people, first thing they did was build a church. Okay? Wherever, and if you look at the history, the Black history of America, wherever there was a concentration of Black folk, the first thing they would do is build a church. And in that church would be a school because it was against the law for Black people to be able to go to school to learn how to read and write. That was a law. We could not go to school to learn how to read and write. Okay? So what we did was when we built a church, we would put a school in the basement of that church to teach people how to read and write. Okay? That was the let me show you something. Now, this this is a statue of a Black Russian on the campus of George G.W. University, right here. Okay, let me show you. Let me show you the plaque. This is him. This is him right here. This is a Black Russian. Okay, on the campus of George Washington University, right there. I think it's about 22nd and I Street, or 23rd, one of the, right in there. This is a Black statue, a statue of a young Black Russian back in the day. Okay, and right across from that is a marker for one of the conductors on the Underground Railroad, right on the same corner. His house used to be there. Now, now this is the famous Ben's Chili Bowl, and notice there's a picture of Bill Cosby. Bill Cosby is the one that made Ben's Chili Bowl famous. They used to send hot dogs to Philadelphia. They would mail them to him. Okay, he made Ben's Chili Bowl famous, and then after he had his little escapade, when he started having problems, they took him down. Um, this is when I first came to DC. That's what it was known, Chocolate City. Man, I came from Alabama. My mama got sick, and I came up here to check on her, and never been to DC. And I came up here and I saw all these Black folk. I said, Mama, how come you didn't tell me that all these Black people were in DC? Because I'm coming from the South. and never left, man. That was 1975, and I never left. I stayed, because the city was fascinating, man. I mean, you could actually do some things, and you talk about a hookup. See, I don't care where you go. Every black person got a hookup, and back in the day, boy, you listen. If you need an inspection sticker, shoot, you could buy you an inspection sticker for $35, $50 that lasts for 3 years. They give you 3 years, 50. I mean, that's how they was hustling. They was in motor vehicle, man. Them guys was hustling. You need an inspection sticker, man. Come on, I got the hookup. I get you one. Ain't be no problem, and you ain't got to never worry about your car going through inspection again. Never. But this, see, okay, so so this is when 2015 is when I started my Black History tour. Okay, notice I started with the DC Underground Railroad tour. That was the first tour that I created, and it was long. It was an all-day tour, and I was sending people to viatour.com. I would send them. I sent them, and and one day, I called. See, this is my sign. This is my sign. That was my sign right there. And I would send people to Viator, and of course you have they give you an agent that you're dealing with, and uh, uh, I just happened to notice that I was the only Black History tour in DC at that time, and they had a lot of tours that they were advertising. And so I said to the young lady, I said, "Listen, I'm sending people to you. How is it that I can matter of fact, you know what? Let me do this right now. Let me do this right now. Where you here we go. There we go. I just Lauren, I just made you a moderator. Okay? I just made you a moderator. And you can block people, you can do whatever. if if you see somebody getting up here talking crap, and go to their profile and they just built it this year, or late 2025, man, block their ass because they trolling. But if they've been around for a minute, let them talk crap because they've been around for a minute. All right. So I just made you a moderator. Okay. So your name should come up blue. It should come up blue. All right. All right. I just made you one. So your name should come up blue. The next time you say something, your name should be blue. And I got four moderators now. I got four. Okay. Um. So anyway, um, I just and see, there you go. There you go. There you go. See, you're a moderator now. You're a moderator now. You can block some folk. Okay. But back to the story about Viator. So I'm sending people to Viator. Don't have a website. I didn't have a website at the time. I just had a concept in my mind that I was trying to develop. So since I didn't have the money for the website, I said, well, let me just advertise my tours and send people to Viator, because if I'm sending them to Viator, then that would give me some kind of credibility. If I'm on this platform, I'll have some kind of credibility by sending them to Viator. So when I approached the lady about seeing if my tours could get in their algorithm, she made a little sarcastic comment. And I was a fan. I said, look, I tell you what, take my shit down right now. But Mr. Folden, I don't want to hear nothing. Take my shit down now. Okay? I'll honor whatever tours are in the pipeline. I'm going to honor them. But take my shit down off your site now. And I meant it. So now, okay, I started out with the DC Underground Railroad tour, right? So now I got to build my own website. Okay? Now that I done got rid of them, I still got to do my own. So I started with the DC Black History Night Tour. Okay? This I said, okay, well, I started out with the DC Underground Railroad tour, with that person. And see, let me show you something. This was the night this was the night Trump won. Somebody came by. I'm standing right in front of his hotel, advertising. That's 2017. I'm standing right in front of his hotel. Okay. Now the truth conductor name has not come yet. Okay. But as you can see, I still got the hat on. Okay. I still got the image, but I ain't got to the name. The name hasn't come to me yet. So I'm building an image, and see, and I would go around the city, man, getting people used to seeing this image. Cause the one thing I wanted him to do every time he said, "Man, that's the DC Black History Night. That's the DC Black History guy right there," and that's what a lot of the press knew me as, the DC Black History guy, because when they started the Paul Manafort, Roger Stone, when all them started going to court, I said, man, that's gonna be a golden opportunity for man. In fact, let me show y'all. Let me show y'all something. Hold on. Listen to this. Oh, wait a minute. This is how I gotta do this. Hold on, y'all. Hold on. Listen to this. Tell America, what do you thought about? What's your thoughts on the DC Underground Railroad? Hey, we're at the end of the DC Underground Railroad tour, and you all are from Colorado. Okay, sir. So tell America, what do you thought about? What's your thoughts on the DC Underground Railroad tour?
I don't think we get the full education that we need when we're so young to really understand this important part of American history, that the fabric of America is clearly across all color lines. And I think this is an important part of getting that education for me, to see on the ground what this may have been like, as close as I possibly can, to feel it, to see it, and to know that it is the truth of what really happened.
Wow. And you, ma'am, what's your thoughts?
I would agree completely. I feel like I need to start studying, and so that I can fully understand the history of the entire basis of this tour, and understanding history. So it's amazing. It's been a great tour.
Well, I thank you, and thank you so very much for coming. And man, enjoy your stay in DC.
Thank you.
Thank you.
See, that's. I mean, I was just, and I was doing this when I I went and sat on when I started my tours. I knew I wanted to be different. I wanted to start my tours in the hood, in Southeast. See, everybody else got their tours, they're in the monument box. I wanted to get outside of the monument box. So I went over to Anacostia at the Anacostia Metro Station on Howard Road. And literally, I sat in front of a church that's right there next to the subway station, and I said, Lord, if this is what I'm supposed to be doing, show me a tour, a Black History tour with the limited Black history knowledge that I have. And I just, because I was a bus driver, I understood routes. I just started driving, showing the history that I knew of. Okay? And that's when I developed the DC Underground Railroad tour. That was my first tour. The DC Underground Railroad tour was my first tour. And I was talking to a friend of mine who's a poet and attorney, and I said, Lillian, I'm creating these Black History tours. I got this idea. She said, you know Harry? I said, no. She said, Harry Jones down at the African American Civil War Museum. You need to talk to him. And she said, let me get his number and I'll give it to you. And I called the brother up and I said, man, listen, this is what I'm doing. May he rest in peace. He died. But he was my first tour guide. And the majority of the Black history that I learned about the city was from him. Because he used to be the curator for the African American Civil War Museum. As a matter of fact, today, if you walk in there, a lot of the voices that you'll hear is his. Okay? He was my first my first tour guide. So hold on. What I do here? Can you hear me now? Okay, I hope you can hear me now. Can you hear me now? So I decided, I said, okay, let me create it. Since I got this all day tour, I need to create a night tour. And I created, how about now? Can you, yeah, okay. So I created the DC Black History Night Tour. That's what, let me see. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Right here. So this was my, people aren't seeing I've advertised the Underground Railroad tour. So now this is actually at the ball stadium. This is at the ballpark over in Southwest. This is a baseball game. See, I'm standing out, and I at the time I didn't know about putting a stick crossways like this to keep the sign from bending. I hadn't developed that yet. But I would put, I would put this big old sign on a stick. And I walk around town advertising my night tours. And I mean, I didn't care where it was. See, I even went back to the Trump Hotel and stood and see, and I'm still advertising my t-shirt. Okay, I'm still advertising. I still got my Never Count God Out t-shirt. Okay. All right. But now, so I had let me show you. And what I was trying to do was reproduce this image when I first had the DC Underground Railroad tour, and I was in front of the Trump Hotel, okay, advertising somebody else. I said, man, let me advertise myself. Okay, I'm going to advertise myself. So I created the DC Black History Night Tour. And both of them were totally different. They intersected each other. That's how much Black history in DC is. The tours intersected each other, but they weren't. They were totally different. But they crossed paths. You know, they would intertwine with each other, but it was totally different. And and finally, um, one day I said, instead of having this 6 hour DC Underground Railroad tour, and see, this is the first time that I created my website, dcblacktours.com. Matter of fact, there was a lady with a DC in Black tours also, and I had DC Black tours. And she emailed me one time saying, you know, I said, man, get out of here. I don't need that. You should have thought of that. You know, you should have thought of that. So now, man, I'm on advertising dcblacktours.com. You know, this is what, and look, see, wherever I went, I'm all over, man. I got my sign. I got my sign. I'm advertising my business. And boy, I can't tell you the amount of hate. Um, this is a guy that was a Trump impersonator. Okay, look just like Trump. And I said, oh, let me get a picture with you. But notice the hat. Okay, notice the hat. I got the hat now. Okay, this is the hat that I'm wearing now. Okay, so this was the beginning of the truth conductor persona. I didn't start out as truth conductor. I grew into that. And see, and let me tell you something, ladies and gentlemen. If your ideas are not growing in your mind, they're dead. Let me say that again. If your ideas are not growing in your mind, they're dead. What do you mean, truth conductor? If you're not seeing different expressions of your idea, yeah, evolution. If you don't see different, good word, evolutions of your idea, it's dead. It ain't for you. It's not for you. And you can be in some of your most intimate moments, and them ideas will pop into your mind. See, they ain't got no respect for when they gonna come. They'll come whenever they want to. But you have to be conscious enough to recognize, oh wow, this thing is growing. I'm seeing different expressions of it. This is the evolution. This is when the truth conductor was born, but I haven't gotten to the name yet. I'm just building the image. And seeing a lot of times people don't want to take time to build an image. Now, because I ran for mayor, because I ran for city council, because I was a community activist, I spoke up. Okay, so I got name recognition. Matter of fact, let me show you. Um, Okay. If you Google my name, look what and put it on images, look at all the stuff that's gonna come up done folded. If you just Google my name, that's just my name. Okay? That's my name. Now, let me show you something. Let me show you something. Some of my stuff, they done took some of my stuff down. But DC Black Tours, if you Google it and put it on images, it's gonna come up. Now, watch this. Look at True Conductor. Okay, same person. Same person. But look how many images that'll come up. Okay? Look at the images. Show you, man, I've been busy. I have been busy building this brand. You know, and that's what a lot of y'all, I bet you dollar to a donut. A lot of y'all ain't never Googled your own name. I bet you a lot of y'all have never Googled your own name to see what's online. And that's what you got to do, man. Google your own name. You're going to have to build name recognition because that's what validates you. That's your validation. So because I was a community activist, that's what happened. That's how I built. That's how I started. So now I would. This how when I was running for mayor, that's how I learned how to write press releases. And man, I would send out a press release just to see, if I was gonna get any response. I said, and it's not so much of getting a response, but it was just getting people used to seeing my name. See, and this it's already gone, man. You late. So then again, I'm trying to find me another. See, this Cory Booker. That's Cory Booker. And I'd be out there, man. When James Comey, when they first had him come up on Capitol Hill and testify, look, man, I said all that free press, shit, that's Wolf Blitzer. Let me go up there and advertise my tours. Okay, all that free press. I said all that free press, man. And see, that's when my stick was long. See, that was long because I was holding it up because I wanted to clear. Look. This is. See, I told y'all, man, if I was a white boy, I'd be a marketing genius. Ain't lying. If I was white, shit, I'd be a marketing genius, man. I ain't lying. And then Trump had the mother of all. Okay, here you go. Look at this. And you see what they put up there? One-time DC mayoral candidate. See, once you do something, man, that's on your resume. That's on your resume. Once you participate in something, man, regardless of the outcomes, it's on your resume. And a lot of people don't work on building their image resumes. They don't work on that. See, they think that's just gonna just fall from the sky. No, it ain't. Man, you got to work at this stuff, okay? And this, see, look, all right. This is what it is, and that'll go down in history. This will go down in history. I'll be dead and gone, rotten, dirt, turn to dirt, and these pictures will still be around. They'll still be around. So then I just started, and I tell you what happened. One day I was trying to. I was gonna sell my limo, and she ran hot on me, and that car must have sat for about 2 hours, and I went out to check the thing, and I don't know what made me take that radiator cap off, and I had a white shirt on, and let me show y'all, and boy, that thing blew up on my arm. It's on this right arm. Man, that thing blew up on my arm and gave me a 3rd-degree burn. I mean, I'm talking about, this is it right here. This is it. I had see all of this? Man, that's a 3rd-degree burn. When my radiator on my car, because I was trying to sell it, and she was pissed. Okay? She was pissed. And so now I got to sit down. And when I got this 3rd-degree burn, that's when I sat down and I went through my website. Because prior to that, man, I was just busy trying to. This is a white supremacist right here, Jason Kessler. He was down at the Lincoln Memorial, man. I went down there. I said, man, let me go meet this. I'm gonna go meet this little dick motherfucker. And I went down there, you know. I just went down there, and this is my baby, man. This is what my baby looked like. This is what my baby looked like right here. Okay, I mean, this is what she, and I kept her clean. I kept her clean. I kept that joint clean, buddy. I kept it clean. I mean, it was always shining. Always shining. But that's, you know, and let me see. And this was my first customer on my DC.
And I got Rebecca Wilson here. This is the first customer on the DC Black History Day tour. Rebecca, tell the people what you think.
Well, it was wonderful. I can't thank you enough for this wonderful tour. I learned all kinds of stuff I never heard before.
Right? Okay. And let me say this. I want to say this publicly to people. I appreciate, I know I gave you $50 for being the first person to take this tour. And I want to tell you, I really appreciate the fact that you went in, we've stopped at React Radio, and you actually passed that, you paid that $50 forward because he's trying to develop a bookstore. And I just want to say thank you for accepting the blessing and passing my blessing on that quick. All right? Okay?
Yes. You're welcome. I mean, it was what that money was meant to be there, so.
Yeah. So you know, I know it's been a long day, and thank you for being the first customer. And then I want to go on this publicly on the record to say every July 5th, we gonna find somebody to bless. Okay?
Okay.
Since we done started a trend.
All
So
right.
you gave it to the bookstore this time. So next year we'll find somebody else
Okay.
to give some money to.
Alrighty.
All right? And it'll be more than $50 if the tours are still going.
Okay.
Okay?
Yes.
All right? So
Yes.
so thank you. Thank you, Rebecca.
See, that was my first customer, a white woman on my DC Black History Day tour. A white woman, okay? A white woman was my first customer. And I had an article in the paper about the tour. I had an article in the paper. Matter of fact, here it is. Here it is right here. This is on Fox 5. This is see, I'm telling y'all, when it comes to name recognition and being involved, man, you say Don Foley, somebody gonna know who I am. You can just have, I'm talking about literally. Welcome to man, so you know this guy Don Folden, true conductor? Oh yeah, I know that guy. So I just had to develop. I always try to see this. Let me tell y'all something. And God gonna bless me financially. I'm gonna be blessed. And when I do, man, I'm gonna turn giving on his head. I'm gonna show people with money how you bless folk. And it ain't gonna be no joke. It ain't gonna be no strings attached to it, too. Okay? And this is why I tell people, man, you ain't got to ask me for nothing. If God want me to bless you, just be around me. He gonna talk to me, and I'm gonna listen, and I'm gonna bless you. I'm gonna bless you. All right. So then now this is when I started cutting my sign down. I saw this Mercedes, the Sprinter, that had a glass rooftop that slid back. Boy, that thing was pretty. And I started advertising their website. And I actually had the general manager call me up and say, man, why are you advertising our website? I said, because I like the car. I'm in the tour business and I like the car. And maybe if I can get out here and get you enough attention, you might give me a break on one. Because I'm getting you. He said, don't do that. Don't do it. And I was down at the courthouse. I was down the first time. Let me show you. See, this is the first time that I started cutting down my sign to this size. And when I started getting flack from him, I said, shit, man, fuck you. I'm going to advertise myself. He gave me so much flack about that sign. I just said, you know what, man, fuck him. I'm going see this Marion Barry. I drove for Marion Barry. He was real sick, man. And he had an accident and diabetic attack. I went and put a business card on his door. I said, man, if I can ever drive for you, just let me know. And he called me. He actually called me. And I ran for mayor against this guy. He said, you Don Folden? I said, yeah. He said, I remember you. I remember you. And he said, you got this? I said, that's all I got, Marion. And he was sitting in the middle. He's sitting in the middle, and when we get where we going, he tap on the window, and I open the door and let him out. And man, he walked 2 steps and had to stop and take a break. But that sign, and see, these are all of the T-shirts ideas that I just pray first, 24/7, 365. I live by faith. and never count God out. Those are all of the t-shirts that I have created along the way. Okay. Um, so then I had to get into I created DCBlackTours.com. And at the time, oh yeah, let me show y'all. That's how messed up my arm was when I got burned. That's how messed up, boy. I mean, my arm was, see, that's how bad I got burned. And that burn is what made me sit down and go through my website. And I caught all of the mistakes. When I sat down and started going through my website, then I realized how confusing it was. See, look. This is the burn that I had on my arm. So I just, that set me down. And let me show y'all. This is the mother of all rallies for Trump right here. And look in the middle of the crowd. Okay? This is a Trump rally. Look in the middle of the crowd. And I went down there, man. And this guy was and I was adamant. You know, I wanted somebody to mess with me. Okay? Because I knew it was going to draw attention to this sign right here. Okay? This is, I wanted. I went down there with the intention of, man, just mess with me. Because if you do, people going to say that guy carrying that Black History sign. It was going to draw some attention to my sign. And I actually had a guy to let me show you how this guy right here tried to challenge me. This guy. Man, I was like, you don't want to bark up this tree, buddy. And to show you, let me show you how bold when they did the national anthem, shit, I kneeled. I got a picture in here. Here we go. See, they doing the national anthem. That's how bold I was. I went in the middle of a Trump crowd and I kneeled on the national anthem and dare you to fuck with me. I dare you to fuck with me. I'm kneeling in the middle of a Trump crowd on the national anthem by myself. And see, look now, the hat still there. Okay, the hat is still there. I'm kneeling. You see them people got they look. See people got they hands on their chest. Shit, I kneel on the national anthem right in the middle of a Trump crowd. I kneel and dared them. Dare you to say something to me. I dare you to say something. You know, that's how because I was mad then, boy. I was mad, man. This little dick motherfucker Jack Bazobiak, who I would end up saving his ass one day. Okay, you see I'm in the background. Okay, I ended up saving his ass one day out at Lincoln Park. I saved his ass because they was getting ready to jump him, and I pulled him out of the crowd. But you see, this is the kind of stuff that you got, man. See, man, this is how bad my arm was. That's how bad my arm was. I had to put a honey patch on my arm to make it heal. That's how bad it was. But see, I'm sitting right in the middle. And you got to, man, when you on a mission, you can't be scared. I'm telling you, you cannot be afraid when you out there trying to build your brand. You cannot be afraid. Cause if you do, it's a wrap. You ain't gonna, your fear is gonna control you more than anything. And see, let me show you. I would get on my bicycle. That's how bad I wanted one of them. I made this sign. And I would ride around on my bicycle with that sign advertised. I mean, I love that. I love that glass top board was the joint. So and see, this Paul Manafort's lawyer. Look in the background. Look in the background. And I got the attention of the CEO of that division, and he was like, man, you know, I have a problem with look, I have a problem with you advertising our website down there in that crowd. Okay? Yeah, I'm still here. Absolutely. I'm still here. At least I ain't on the street. At least I ain't on the street. I'm still here. Yes, I am. God is good. So when from that point on, I was like, you know what? Let me start advertising, and let me show you how I first started with DC Black Tours. I didn't even start with it on stick. I just had a sign that I folded up. Hold on. Now here it is. See, this when I started DC Black Tours. I just said, you know what? I ain't gonna be fighting with them. Man, let me advertise myself. That's what I'm gonna do. Okay? Let me advertise myself. And that's what I started doing. And notice I didn't even have warfare marketing on this. So when at the night Trump was elected, I went down to his hotel, and when I got out of my car, all I heard was guerrilla warfare marketing. Didn't know what it was, didn't have no idea, but that's what I heard: guerrilla warfare marketing. So okay, and about a week later, see, anything that's meant for you, you're gonna be able to define it. Let me say that again. Anything that's meant for you, you're gonna be able to define it. You'll be able to have a definition for what. And so guerrilla warfare, free marketing when the world is watching. It's all guerrilla warfare marketing is some free marketing. You're ambushing some situations when the world is watching. And that's what I would do. See, so now the Manafort trials are starting, and I'm going down to the White House. I mean, I go down to the courthouse, and I was like, you know, this is how they used to gather down by the courthouse. Man, them guys would crop me out. They would do all kinds of stuff. But when I first started, see, look, I'm holding the sign in my hand. This is a lawyer, a little young boy that was they convicted, boy, And somebody said something to him, boy, and said, see, I got the sign in my hand. Okay? I got it in my hand. And then I said, well, wait a minute, let me put this on a stick. You know, I need to get this sign on a stick. And that's what I did. I went and made me a stick. I put it on a stick, just like that. And I just started walking around. First I had it real. See, this is in New York City. I'm in New York, advertising my tours in New York City. That's what I'm doing. Went to the courthouse, man. Let me go up there and advertise my tours. And I got all of them guys, every one of them guys that and I'm gonna show y'all something. When I was fired from Metro, this is what I fell back on. Right here. When they fired me from Metro, that's actually a dolly that I had some containers on, and I would go down by Union Station. And that's how I kept my head above water. Because I was a former street vendor. and I could walk in any wholesale house and they knew who I was. They knew who I was because I was a former vendor. So I didn't need no license or none of that. Cause hey, man, I ain't seen you in years. Yep, I'm back at it again, and that's what they knocked me down to. Sure did. But you know, the brand I kept building my brand. I kept my image, and then this is in 2018. Okay, this in 2018. I was so broke, y'all. I was so broke when I took this picture. My bicycle, oh, sorry about that. My bicycle is literally at my feet. I had to ride my bicycle down to to the Martin Luther King Memorial to take this picture for it. And I just knew, man, once I was featured in the Washington Post magazine, boy, business was gonna take off. You know, finally, I'm getting ready to explode. If I got 2 tours from this article, I got 100. Serious. I mean, in my first year of doing my Black History tours, I started in 2014, 2015, Black History Month. I was praying to God, please, Lord, don't let me go out of business in no Black History Month with no Black History tour. That's how bad business was. And it's not like people didn't know, because I'm out there, man. I'm out there. You know, I'm promoting my tours. You know, I'm getting to be known. And business was just that bad that I prayed to God, please, Lord. And from the time that I have developed my tours up until when I took them down last year, Black History Month was always my worst month of business. Always my worst month of business was Black History Month. That's the truth. And that's a sad commentary. And I got Black History tours, and I can't get no business in Black History Month from black folk. And when I was sitting down by the White House one day, and I saw this group, black folk with a white tour guide that didn't even show them no. And I told them, I said, bet y'all ain't getting no Black History. And the woman looked at me like this. She just looked at me like, You're right. Okay. And I just said, you know what, man, let me take my tours down because I'm not gonna go through this frustration. Ain't nobody interested. I just took them down. I took them down. Because I said I'm just gonna focus. This is the first universal message that I ever had, and I'm just gonna focus on that. Um, so so the evolution started. I mean, look, here it is. Here I am in the Washington Post magazine, right there. I'm in the Washington Post magazine. Didn't get nothing. Didn't get nothing. You know. This is when my grandson was at Ohio State. I went up there seeing. That's when we found them 5 markers for the Underground Railroad on the campus of The Ohio State University. They got 5 markers dedicated to the Underground Railroad on the campus of The Ohio State University. And we found all 5 of them. So I just I just put my head down, man. I just put my head down and just try to get as much attention as I possibly could. That was my this is my first tour guide right here, Harry Jones. This is my first tour guide. Right here. That brother taught me, man, he taught me a lot. I learned a lot from that guy. I mean, I would just sit back and marvel at the history that this is the former chief of police, Ramsey, right here. And this one is Bruce Johnson. He's a Kappa. He died. He was getting, man, in fact, Bruce had retired from Channel 9 and he was getting ready to have this book signing of this book that he released. And I got tickets for the book signing, and he had a heart attack and died before his book signing. This is him, Bruce Johnson. Right here. That's him. That's him. So, I just started, this is I just started DCBlackTours.com. Wherever I go, I just be trying to advertise my website, man, to get some business. And this, let me see here. Let me show y'all this. Where did I start?
Yeah, I'm glad Coach had y'all put your phones away. Because, see, if I say anybody that got the right answer can come up here and pick up $50. Can I get a taker? Who is it?
One man.
Hey, look, y'all. Let me tell y'all something. Listen, fellas. See, a lot of y'all sitting here looking at me sideways about me throwing money on the floor, and I'm challenging you intellectually. And you can't. I'm glad Coach had y'all.
This is I had a situation where I went and talked to some young kids, man, and I threw some money on the floor. I threw some money on the floor. Look,
I ran for mayor against Marion Barrett. Back in the day, the last time he won, I was in that group. Now I got another question. I heard that, Lord. Who know their GPA? I saw your hand first.
3-4.
3.4. Anybody higher than a 3.4? What's yours?
3.9.
3.9. What's yours?
3.6.
What's yours? What's yours? 3.9. I got 2 3.9s in here. Man, both of y'all come up here and get $50. Both of y'all come up here and just get $50. Okay? Okay?
See, that's what I want to do, boy. I want to walk into a classroom and just throw some money on the floor. Damn it, and ask some questions. And whoever come up and get some money, come pick it up. Come pick it up off the floor. That's what I did. They gave me an opportunity to go in and talk to some children, and that's what I did. Okay? Let me try to be, see, what we don't understand is a lot of these young kids are motivated by their money. That's their motivation. They ain't gonna do it because it's the right thing to do. Forget that. They ain't doing it for that. They gonna do it because it's something in it for them. And some of them kids, man, was hungry. And I think I put about $400 down. And the rest of the money that they didn't give up, man, I gave it to the coach. I said, man, take this. Use it for whatever you want to do. I gave the rest of the money to him. I did. See, that's how I would distribute my wealth. Even if I walked on stage, man, I'm throwing some money on stage, and finding a reason for them to come up and get some. Finding a reason. Because, now we're going to have to use money as the motivating factor to get these kids to do what they should be doing. Because the times have changed. They ain't going to do it because it's the right thing to do. You got to give them some motivation. And money is their motivation. I'm telling y'all. And see, and look. And you see, I'm in uniform. Okay? I'm in uniform. I sure am. I still got my brand. Still got my brand. And that's, and that was a fun time. That was a fun time. See, this told y'all, man, I didn't mess around. I didn't mess around trying to, build my brand, to promote my business, and that thing with Kalish was when, see, these are the markers. These are the markers that's on the campus of The Ohio State University. Those are the Underground Railroad markers. Right there, it's 5 of them. That's what they look like. Right there. And my grandson, I never forget, he come up, granddaddy, man, I saw a sign that reminded me of you. I said, boy, you smoking reefer already? You just got there. He said, quit playing. No, he said, but I saw this Underground Railroad sign, and when you come, I'm gonna show it to you. And we found, see, this one is 4 or 5 right here. All these 4 or 5. I got some. I got them. I got all 5 of them. I know that. Wait a minute. See, this is 2 or 5. Right here. That's 2 or 5. I got all of them. And then, this is in Alexandria. See, this one I just said, okay. Let me start advertising my own tours. And this is over at the courthouse in Alexandria, right here. That's at the courthouse. I forgot who they was doing something. Oh, it was Comey. Manafort. It was Manafort. Because I was in the background. I was in the background with my see, look at all that press. Look at all that press. They know who I am. They know who I am. Because they done seen me. Okay? They done seen me. Oh, listen to this.
All right, ladies, what y'all think of the tour?
I thought it was fabulous and enlightening,
Okay.
disturbing about what history is being forgotten.
Wow. And Julie?
Yeah, and I completely agree with everything Karen just said, and I just heartily recommend this tour. I mean, I've learned things today that I didn't know, and seen and visited places that I didn't know existed that are right here in front of us, and that I'm so glad I came.
And you've actually gone on a different African American
Yes,
tour.
I have.
Okay.
And I gotta say,
and tell the people what you think about the tour.
and I gotta say, this is the one you want to go on. You want to go on this one because this one takes you to places you're not going to go on anyplace else on any other
And our
tour.
narrator is amazing.
And yes, and you know a ton of history.
All right, y'all here. All right, ladies. What y'all
See?
think?
I mean, I take this serious, y'all. I take it serious. And if I'm gonna do it, man, I'm going. You know, it's like when I do these lives, man, I have to take me a nap. I put so much energy into these things that I actually have to take a nap. I really do. Okay, because when I finish, man, I'm drained. Because that's how much energy that I put into my lives. You know, some folk just get on here and go through the motion. No, man, I'm pouring my heart. And see, and this is what I found doing my tours, that if I'm passionate, I'm just as passionate with one or two people as I am with 15 or 20. I got the same passion. It's the same passion that and this, I'm telling y'all, this ain't easy. This is not easy. See, look, this is Paul Manafort's lawyer, and this is a screenshot of a video. See, I'm in the background. I'm in the background. Look, we out in Virginia. And you see that? Man, I got so much hatred, boy. I got so much hate. I'm telling you, the hate that I got for just trying to take advantage of a free opportunity. I mean, people dumped on me because I was advertising a black business. I got dumped on. I ain't lying. I mean, I got dumped on, buddy. Yes, I did. And this is a slave auction block down in Fredericksburg, Virginia. I found out about that place, and I had that wreath made. And I went down and to honor that slave auction block in Fredericksburg, Virginia. That's what people were told, man. And lives would never be the same. See that? So you know, and if we don't want to acknowledge it, then nothing is gonna change. Nothing is gonna change. And this is one of my favorites right here. We had been sitting outside the courthouse all day. And Paul Manafort's lawyer walked up to the microphone and he said, "I have nothing to say," and took off and started walking. And I'm like, what? He did what? And I just said, shit, I'm gonna walk with him. I got right behind him. I got right behind. See, this guy is actually has tripped over the curb. He's actually falling because he done tripped over the curb. He's actually in the air falling. And I just got right behind his ass. I said, buddy, if you walking, shit, I'm walking with you. I'm gonna walk with you. All right? Okay? No, man, you got to you can't be you cannot be uh uh worried about, see, look. You can't be worried about what people thinking and what they saying. Man, 100 years from now, when they show this video, I'll still be right there. 100 years from now, whenever they talk about this, I'll still be right there. My great grandchildren be saying, look at great granddaddy. There he is. And this is how I got started, man. This is how I got started. So from that, this is Jackie Robinson's son, right here. That's Jackie Robinson's son. He got a coffee company over in Africa. So now I'm on a mission to look. This is on the Senate building. They were having a hearing up at the Senate building. This is what I did. I'm out there advertising my tours. And some folk be like, man, you should. I was adamant about. I was adamant. I mean, see, look, I was adamant. Supreme Court. Let me go up there and advertise my tours. I was advertising my tours. Y'all know he's a Republican. I forget his name right now. Armstrong Williams. There's Armstrong Williams right there. I'm gonna call you, Don. I'm gonna call you, Don. I ain't heard from that joker. I ain't never heard now. I'm gonna call you, man. I'm gonna call you. Yeah, okay. All right. If you say so. So and this is the guy with Sam and Dave. That's one of Sam and Dave, great singer. They came down to the White House. This one of the Beach Boys, right here. That's one of the Beach Boys. I even got Jim Brown in here somewhere. What do I do with Jim Brown? I just, it didn't matter to me. Whatever and by me being in the nation's capital, then you're gonna see some things. You'll see things in this city that you don't see nowhere else. You don't see it nowhere else. And see, this is my DC Black History Museum hop on hop off shuttle I created. I created that. Because there was no shuttle that would take people to, because all of our stuff was like in the community. We were outside of the monument bar. So I said, man, let me create a hop on hop off shuttle. And that's what I do. I create a hop on hop off shuttle. See, and when you're used to serving, see, you can see needs. You'll see stuff before anybody else see it because you're used to serving. And that's how I've been blessed, because with a lot of my ideas, because I used to serve in church and I was dedicated. And I just learned how to recognize stuff from serving in church. I just saw needs. This is my late mom right here. That's my mama. I always say, boy, you a late bloomer. As
that's what my mama is always said, boy, you a late bloomer. I said, please, mama, don't say. She said, no, you are a late bloomer. And I guess it came true. It came true. I'm a late bloomer. This is back, man, when I first got my kids. My kids are like 3 and 4, or 2 and 3, 3 and 4 right here. And I ain't seen their mama since. I couldn't tell you if that girl dead or alive. And over 40 years now that I have not seen my kid's mother. I couldn't tell you if she dead or alive. And when I finally realized that she didn't want to be in my kids' lives, I just said, you know what? I'm going to just have to fill this cup up with as much love as I possibly can and just keep it moving. You know? Just keep it moving. You know? See, so that's how I made the transition. I went from KalishUSA.com to DCBlackTours.com. Let me advertise myself. You got a problem with me putting your website out? Shit, I'll just put mine up. Hell with it. And this was the life-changing moment for me right here. I went down to the courthouse and Spirit of God said, take some donuts and coffee with you. And I bought it and I gave it to the photographers, all of the photographers that was there standing outside. I said, man, here, I brought y'all some coffee and some donuts. And from that day to this, man, I never been cropped out of another picture. Never been cropped out of another picture. That's the honest God truth. That's how I got in with them photographers. I took them some coffee and some donuts. And I never had a problem being in a photo from that point on. And one time, and this is after I done took the coffee and the donuts. We standing outside the courthouse, and this one guy kept trying to get my attention. He was like, yeah. You know, and I walked over to him. He said, listen, my camera is live. Okay, this is a live feed that I got right here. And I went right back and put my sign up on, look at all them police officers. Went back, right back and put, you see the news, you see it down here. Man, I went back and put my sign back in that feed so it would just sit there. That DCBlackTours.com was sitting there in that feed. That's, look. That's how I knew that to go stand in that position. And see, this is what I learned down at that courthouse. You always got to be where they going. See, a lot of times people be see, like when Roger Stone would come out, man, I get as close to his car as I possibly can, because that's where he got to come. See, I'm not trying to be behind him when he's leaving. I want to be in front of him where he got to come, because eventually them cameras gonna turn to his car. And this is Mike Flynn. Mike Flynn and his wife getting out the car. And boy, and I don't know, God just gave me favor with the marshals at the courthouse, because they didn't bother me, because I wasn't being disruptive or anything else. They didn't bother me. All them other people coming down there with them signs, they make them move. But look, I'm right up on this guy. He get out the car, I'm right there next to him advertising my Black History Tours. Right next to him. Okay? See, look, he getting out the car. I'm standing right there waiting. I'm standing right there waiting as he getting his wife out the car. I'm right there. And that's what you got to do. All right, I'm gonna do it. I've been on here an hour and a half, so man, thank y'all. I'm just trying to show you how I build this brand persona. Okay, and you got to you know it's some work. It ain't easy. You got to put some work in. And I've been at this now for some years, building this persona. I've been at this for years. It didn't just start because I got people used to the look. See, they would recognize me for the look even before I had the name Truth Conductor. And once, and people used to always tell me, "Are you a conductor? You work on?" I said, "No, man. I'm a conductor on the Underground Railroad. Here's my business card. Book a tour. Okay, don't count God out. Yeah, don't count him out. For real. Don't count God out. Don't count God out. Never count God out. He's all see. Never look. Never count God out. And see, and I have both sides so that regardless that whether you're in front of me or behind me, you're still gonna see the same thing. See, I got the same. You still gonna see the same thing whether you're in front of me or behind me. You're gonna see the same thing. This George Papadopoulos down here, right here when he's going to court. I'm all them guys, man. All them jokers. They know who I am. They know who I am. They do. And it's been a fun ride, man. I ain't lying. It's been a fun ride through all of the adversity. It's been a fun ride. It really has. It's been a fun ride, and it's when you thank you, man. I like you. I did the right thing, buddy, making you a moderator. Thank you. But it's been a ride, man. It really has. All right. So let me go and recharge my batteries because I'll be back tonight. But I got to recharge my batteries because I put a lot of energy into this. I really do. I really put a lot of energy to this, and that's just I'm passionate about what I do. A lot of people are not passionate. They just go through the motion. But I'm passionate. And when you're passionate about something, people can feel that. They might not say nothing, but they can feel it. Okay? All right.